Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. You walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Where'd that come from? I'm feeling pretty goofy today. I'm still wearing my elf hat from Christmas. Wait. Look at that. And wait. And now. Welcome to today's installment of I'm feeling so playful today. And you know why? Because I have ultra energy because ANYA NICHOLSON is here today. And I just love her story. I love her story. I can't hear much with there. I love her story. I was like, how come I can't hear anything? Lord have mercy. I love her story because she reminds me of the importance of doing better. And I'm going to keep it real. What is today? The 24th. It has been over a month since I went to the gym. I did it again where I'm not going to go today. I'll be back on it tomorrow. And here it is like 39, 40 days later. So I was all up in her Facebook cookies today. And she's got so many great tips in there. I remember when I was so tenacious with my health and wellness, but she's got good reason for it. And she's going to give us some tips today, especially as we get started. I don't believe in, turn this heater off. Oof. Yeah, I got a few wrinkles, but it's okay. What was I going to say? Oh, I hate New Year's resolutions because I never get them done. As long as I can remember, even when I was a kid, I did them. They didn't work. So I really don't care for New Year's resolutions, but I do care for a nice plan to get something going, to get it better. Oh, I was like, what's going on over there, Judge Judy? She's still doing it, right? She's the next Betty White. I'm just saying. And I'm going to be the black male Betty White one of these days. I'm going to hit 99 or 100. But that is even more the reason. Why am I so... Hold on. I'm going to take... Wait. That usually clears it up. And now I'm hearing this over there. There. Weird stuff going on in here today. But anyway, what I'm getting at is this. Quality of life. I'm not kidding you. I'm 61 years old. I love colognes. I have a lot of colognes. So does my husband. And we joke in our bathroom, we want to keep the cologne bottles and not replace them with pill bottles. I go into a lot of family members' bathrooms and stuff, and you don't even have to be nosy anymore going inside the medicine cabinet. If you still have those, because we don't have one. But you know what I'm saying. People used to go in and go, look at all the pills she has. You know, people are nosy, but a lot of people can't even hide it now because they're all over the counter. I know people my age, I go to their house, right there on their island in their kitchen. They've got this machine that counts out all of their pills. And I just think that we can do better. What did Laura Ingalls Wilder do? She didn't go into the mercantile and tell Mrs. Olson, give me some of this and that. There was no pharmacist that I know of in Walnut Grove, right? But we can do better. And Anya is here to tell us how she went from how long? 13 years of being sick and 13 years of pills, pills, pills. And then she said, no more, no more, no more. And today, you'll see she's on the way in. Put some hearts on the screen, won't you? It's our virtual way of saying welcome as we welcome today's guest, ANYA NICHOLSON. Here she comes. Good morning, Anya. How you doing?
Good morning. Very good. Great.
Good. Excuse me, I have a runny nose today, and I'm going to switch you out back there and put this in so we can sit right on top there. Now we're sitting right on top of the name. So welcome to the show. Good to see you again.
Thank you. You too.
How was your Christmas?
Pretty good. Low key. I needed it to be. I don't do the big holiday thing anymore. I've learned to take a lot of stress off of myself by not meeting other people's expectations of me, instead, being true to myself. And it was a hard thing to learn to do that.
Yeah, I feel you there. So listen, I like to give you the guest a chance to just instead of reading a big long ass bio, let you just say, hey y'all, and I'm Anya, and I live in Boise, wherever you live, and say hello, and then kind of give them a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. Then I'll pop back in and we'll get officially started. This way you can kind of create your own vibe with everybody. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna dip out and I'll be back in just a minute. Take it away.
Thank you. Hi, so I'm ANYA NICHOLSON, and right now I'm living in Wellington, Florida. I was in Boca for a long time, and then we were traveling around for the last year and a half to Canada, and then we came back to Florida because we missed our friends in our homeschool community. But my story, I guess, really begins, what year was it? 2008, on June 6th. I was very excited to be pregnant after being told I couldn't have kids due to polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I had complications with my pregnancy I had complete placenta previa, where the placenta covers your cervix and you're at high risk of hemorrhaging and bleeding to death. And I was told it was resolved, and it didn't. And at the hospital, when I was in labor, my OB pressured me. My water broke, and 24 hours later, I still hadn't progressed. So he pressured me into taking Pitocin and an epidural, and my placenta ripped out of my uterus, and I lost 30% of my blood, which caused my pituitary gland to die from hypovolemic shock, and my milk not to come in. That's a big sign for ladies that something is wrong when your milk doesn't come in and you've bled during or right after childbirth. So my doctor lied about how much blood I lost. He said I lost the normal amount, and I had an emergency C-section, so said I lost the normal amount. My son was okay, although he had to do a year of physical therapy, but he's fine now. But I started getting sicker and sicker, and we didn't know why. And then I was trying to get pregnant, and I just kept having miscarriage after miscarriage. So I ended up doing fertility treatments. I did IUI and a lot of fertility drugs. And I was able to conceive my second son, 3 years. He's 3 years and 7 months younger than my older son. And he was almost a triplet, but he was the only one who made it. And I'm fine with that because I didn't understand what bounce off the wall meant until I had my second son. I call him my Tigger. He literally would run into the wall for fun. He is my wild child.
Wow. That sounds like what I used to do.
Yeah.
Okay, you're in for, how old is he now?
12.
Oh, okay. So you got it down pat now.
The older one is 15 and a half. So that's how long ago this all started. So after I had my second son, my health started like getting way worse, really declining. I had put on a lot of weight. I couldn't lose it no matter what I did. My hair was coming out in chunks. We assumed I had cancer. So I started
You assumed you had cancer?
The doctors weren't helping me. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And because my hair was falling out and I was just so sick, we didn't tell people I had cancer or anything, but we treated it as if it was cancer.
You and your husband?
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Y'all would sit up there in the bedroom. Man, girl, I can't believe you got cancer.
No.
I mean, did you really believe you had cancer?
Well, I just knew that I was dying and I didn't know what to do about it. So I looked and I researched how people healed from cancer.
Okay. So it was that bad, Anya?
Yeah, it was that bad.
So wait a minute. So what about, let's go get a second opinion. So what was going through you guys' mind, or was it just fear-based?
I was getting laughed at by doctors and made fun of and told I needed Valium. When I was actually dying from not having enough cortisol or thyroid hormone.
Wait a minute. You said they said you needed Valium.
I was a mother and I had anxiety, which is what they tell a lot of women who have health issues after having children.
I heard that too, that they do that. Just brush them off.
One time it got so bad, my husband took me to 4 emergency rooms in the same day, and they all offered me Valium. At the 4th one, I got on the phone with somebody from a Facebook hypopituitary support group, and she stayed on the phone until the doctor treated me and took my blood. And if she hadn't, I would have died that day.
So the doctor took your blood, and what'd they find out when they took your blood?
So what happens is it looks like I'm having a panic attack or anxiety. Like, for instance, when we got on the call this morning and you could tell that I was not my normal self.
Yeah.
Because I get overwhelmed by technology, which I'm still learning. But but you look like you're panicking. You know, you get sweaty, your heart rate goes up, you get confused. I start stuttering. I don't say things that make sense. That's how my husband knows that my cortisol has gone too low and my adrenaline too high. Okay. And the thing is, you can go into acute adrenal crisis and die from it. It's not. So the thing is, you look like you're having a panic attack, but when you're telling doctors who really don't like it when you tell them how to do their job, they take it very offensively, even if it's about your life. Then if they don't want to test you. They're like, oh, she's just having a panic attack. She just has stress. And I'm like, no, I'm dying. I need cortisol or I'm going to die. So it was that bad at that time because my thyroid gland wasn't being treated either. So if my thyroid had been treated in the very beginning, I would never have developed secondary adrenal insufficiency and a horde of other diseases. Or conditions. I have a list right here that's pretty long.
What, a list of what?
All the conditions I was diagnosed with.
Are those legitimate conditions?
Yes, I can tell you some of them.
So you believe you had all that?
Oh no, this is confirmed by diagnosis.
So you really did have all that. That's what I'm getting. They weren't false.
No, they were not
Okay,
false.
okay, okay.
And the thing is, I researched like crazy. I started researching because my son had celiac and dairy allergies. And so I kind of had started getting into researching how to treat that, how to deal with it. And that kind of opened up my road to researching everything. I mean, I've always been a researcher. So I started looking and trying to find out what was wrong. I couldn't. After 8 years, I went to an endocrinologist and found out like I was making no thyroid hormone. And
None.
and the doctor told me that I had Sheehan syndrome, but she couldn't treat me because I would flag her to the insurance companies.
Wait, you had what is all this stuff I never heard? What did you do?
So
Sheehan syndrome.
Sheehan's syndrome is a form of hypopituitarism that happens when a woman loses blood during or right after childbirth.
Oh, okay.
So when you're pregnant, you have 2 to 3 times more blood than normal, and your pituitary gland gets 2 to 3 times bigger, like a water balloon. Super
Oh.
sensitive. So when you hemorrhage and oxygen does not get to your brain through your blood, the pituitary gland can die from shock. And that's what happened. Now, the thing is, it's a progressive death. Part of it dies right away. The other part slowly dies. If you are treated with hormone replacement right away, you have this great chance of having a great quality of life. When you are not treated and you go almost 13 years untreated like I did, it destroys your quality of life. The average time for diagnosis for the condition is 12 plus years. Many women die while waiting to get diagnosed.
So you said quality of life. So what was it like for you at your worst?
At my
What was
work,
what was a typical day like?
I would lay in bed, unable to straighten my body, shaking, sick. If I got up, I would pass out, hit my head. I did that multiple times. I ended up having seizures. I literally just fell apart. Like my body was falling apart. And the thing is, I finally got treated after 13 years, and the treatment made me worse. It was like 12 and a half years. And I quickly deteriorated. That's actually when I started having the seizures. My teeth disintegrated, they just crumbled apart. That was after I finally got treated for the adrenal insufficiency, and I got on cortisol replacement, prednisone to be specific.
Prednisone. So I heard about that one, but wait a minute. Why'd the teeth crumble and fall apart?
Because I didn't know that I had a connective tissue disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I'm double jointed. I can do all these weird things, and just for fun, I can put my hands behind my back in Namaste. I can make my wrist go down. I pass I'm not going to do it because it's not good for me, but I can make this touch here.
Oh, I used to be able to do that.
Degrees.
You can't do it now. Arthritis. But go ahead.
Women that are double jointed are very high risk for hemorrhage, and nobody tells you this. Nobody screens you during childbirth. So nobody tells you, like, I think people should need to ask. And this is why I decided to go public with my story, which was very shameful for me because of the way I was treated by doctors. I lost all my self-esteem. And when I got my teeth, I swore, I made a deal with God that I would get out there and I would share my story so I can save some lives.
Wow. And hold on. I'm gonna come in. Might as well go there now. Because so people can understand. Hold on. I had it pulled. I have your face. This thing freezes. We're on a new platform. Bear with me. Okay, I'm on your Facebook page. So can you hear me and see me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna add this to the screen. Now I gotta go back over here to your Facebook page. Okay. So this is some food stuff, but we're gonna get into that. I was looking at all that. Oh, wait. We're gonna look at all your pictures. Where is it? You have the picture of your teeth. You
Go on my main profile.
go right. Okay.
And
There. If we come in here, let's come in here and blow this thing up. Take us. This is a post from October 1st of last year.
Okay.
Now, take us through this.
So the picture is actually taken in 2021. When I was
Okay.
on loads of medication, and I was taking most of those about 3 times a day.
Everything we see here?
Yes, hormones, supplements, painkillers. Because I would have these what's called dystonia, uncontrollable muscle spasms, and I didn't know it was because I was having partial dislocations. So my body, I couldn't straighten it. It would shake. So they had me on Flexerol for muscle spasms, Valium for muscle spasms,
Flexerol.
which is actually what you're supposed to be on Valium for. It was invented for muscle spasms.
Yeah.
And I was on Percocet for the pain. And I was still hurting myself all the time. Like I was afraid to walk, literally. And walking was painful anyway.
Oh
So
my goodness. This is you in the living part of the grocery store.
yes. So
And you love you some red, don't you?
yes, that's my favorite color. But what
You,
kind
now how did I know? Now there,
here we go.
girl.
I was
Look-
missing a bunch too. You can't
Look
do
at the difference. So, I hate to say this. Okay, but how many people looked at you like this and thought, "Dang, I wonder what drug she's on?" Because you were, but you weren't. But it looks like street drugs.
Yep.
It looks like you're an addict who's just out there like meth or something. And this is as a result of all of the combination, misdiagnosis, and all of the things that you were taking that weren't serving you, right?
Right. That I was told I needed. And then I guess I really got to my last point with the medication when they wanted to put me on anti-seizure medication, even though they couldn't tell why I was having seizures. And I said no.
Wow. Now,
I-
how old are you on the left here? Because I know you're
Yeah.
showing this because of the 120 pounds lost.
So Chance is 12, and I had him. He was a baby there. I had him in 2011 at Christmas. So that was I can't do math right now, and I'm
Okay.
a accountant.
But you lost 120 pounds.
Yes, it was like 12 years ago.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it took me a long time before I could lose it. I could not lose weight. Like I was just having such a hard time. I gave up. I tried every diet, everything you can think of, and I just couldn't get off the weight because I had low thyroid.
Okay, so when did things shift for you? What was the catalyst? Someone said, "Girl, sit down and let me just tell you what's really going on," or you read something or saw something or heard something. When did it completely shift from what the hell to now I see? What was it that shifted it for you?
Another
Or
doctor
who?
changed my medical records because
Who?
so I had been told to go to this new endocrinologist,
Okay.
and I had to go through Cleveland Clinic, and that doctor refused to give me thyroid meds. And that's when my health got worse. She made me get off of thyroid meds, refused to give them to me. She said she couldn't consciously, but she didn't read the article I printed out from Cleveland Clinic and gave her that said that if you have central hypothyroidism, you cannot rely on the normal test results on the TSH because your pituitary gland is like an ignition in a car, right? You can have the alternator, the engine, battery, and everything can be working perfectly. But if you can't turn on the ignition, they're not going to work. The car's not going anywhere.
Oh.
So that's what happened in my brain. I stopped making, so my pituitary gland's the ignition, and it tells your other glands what to do. Produce cortisol, produce, thyroid gland, produce, I can't think of all the other hormones, but oxytocin or whatever you produce to make breast milk. So all these different things. And then you get HPA axis dysfunction. So that's the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal gland axis. So what happens is my signals are firing all over the place and they're not making sense. And my brain can't figure out what to do. So it starts looking like I'm having a panic attack. And then my cortisol drops. So it's all
Oops, sorry, I meant to bring me back in. Okay, okay. So you're there and she says she didn't because doctors don't like when you try to tell them what to do or you check them, well, what's this and what's that? And I really believe we should do that more often. I mean, because it can go both directions. For instance, my husband last year thought his doctor, he hated going to see her. Number one, it was way in the city. And then second of all, she was so tenacious. He'd be there for like hours, right? And she was like very pinpointy, detaily. And he was like this, but she did help find something with her nitpicking that, he was glad later that, oh, wow. But just as easily, it can be the opposite where, I mean, I just can't understand it because a lot of us don't question. I mean, we know about get a second or third opinion, but good Lord, after all that you had heard, most of us would have just laid down and believed him. What was it, Anya, that let you know, wait a minute, I still don't believe that this is what's going on and I can change this? I mean, there was enough there to kill you.
I mean, well, I had confirmed diagnoses of all the conditions, but they wouldn't treat me. Like, because of COVID,
Hi, Bella.
I was
Sorry.
able to see an endocrinologist in LA who's like the only person who treats the condition. So he had got me on the right medications, and you had to
But
go
how do
see.
you know? I'm
How
just saying,
so?
how do you
Because
know
I
this
had
one's
an
wrong? Now here's somebody telling you what's right. At this point, how do you trust? I guess is a better question. How do you trust? I don't care what they got hanging on the wall.
I lived in complete fear, constant fear that I was going to die any minute, and so
I
I did
imagine
what they
so.
told me. But the thing was, I was telling them like, I need this, this, and this. So I finally got on it after all those years, and they wanted me to go on growth hormone, right? And I had to go get a test made, and that's when that doctor who had denied me medication several years before, she
Yeah.
changed her medical records, both for the endocrinology and
Yeah.
for my cardiologist, that showed that I had a condition called POTS, where you pass out when you stand up,
Oh, girl.
which is how I hurt my head more. So, yeah, it was a mess. But the thing is, like, when I talk about it, it's like it happened to somebody else now, except that I have this drive in me to help prevent it from happening to other
And
women.
let's go there. Let's go into this shift
Okay.
of the holistic, all of that. So you get to the point where you're like, not another damn pill, not another damn pill. I don't even want, don't give me Tic Tacs. I don't want chiclets. I don't want the little necklace, candy necklace. Remember those that we used to put in our mouth like this and be all gummy on our necks? I don't want anything that resembles a pill. Okay. Supplement or otherwise. You decide this on your own, correct?
Yeah.
How did you know what to do organically, holistically? Where did you go? I
God.
mean, what
God.
did you say, God?
Yes.
Oh, well. Okay, so you sat down, you said, "Hey, I don't know, I want to talk to the big cheese," right?
I knew I was dying. And I was at this point where I had been on the cortisol prednisone for, I don't know, 8 months maybe.
You really thought you were dying for
No,
real?
I was dying. My family was coming to say goodbye. And I was falling apart. I came home from the hospital. I had diverticulitis. They wanted to remove part of my colon, and I couldn't digest food. I was choking. I had partial vocal paralysis.
Good
Um,
Lord.
I was literally falling apart. I mean, that's where you see in that picture. That was actually when I was a little bit better. That was about 6 months, 5, 6 months after I had my turning point. So I actually
Wow.
looked worse than that picture.
The one with the teeth.
Yeah, I looked worse than that.
You were looked you so there was a point you looked worse than that.
Um,
What was the worst you felt? I mean, was it ever to the point, Anya, where you just could not get out of bed?
yes,
And I don't mean from depression.
my
I
husband
mean,
helped me bathe. Had to help me go to the bathroom.
what was your lowest weight, body weight?
I think for me, I went down to about 112,
And your normal weight for you, average good weight for you?
140.
Okay. What a okay. So so you're at your worst. Is this rock bottom we're
Yeah.
talking? So how did you get up and find all this stuff to turn it around if you could barely move?
I came home from the hospital and I laid down face, first on the ground, and I asked God to please kill me or else show me how to heal, and to make it so clear, I'll have no doubt in my mind how to do it. And
Okay, wait.
I was done.
Back the car up. You laid flat on the ground, humbling yourself,
I
and
promise.
said, God, either kill me, and I see choice. There's a choice there. Either kill me or show me how to heal. Let me tell you why that is so important. I remember my granny telling me when I was like 6 or 7 years old, let me tell you something, boy. She was like, don't ever ask God to humble you. Ask him to show you how to humble yourself. because when you get to do it, it's usually a lot more comfortable than if God has to do it. So I get, how did you know to phrase it like that?
I don't know.
Just did. Okay, so you put it out there, either do this or do that, and then what was the first thing that happened that you know now was pointing to move the needle over to the other side? What was
Well,
the first thing?
I spent 2 days laying on the floor trying to get my arm back in the socket and my shoulder. And something clicked in my brain as I clicked my shoulder into places that this is just not normal. Something has to be done about this. So I went to MedExpress, one of the clinics, and they x-rayed my shoulder. I had already gotten it back in the socket, which I've done multiple times in my life. I've lost count.
Oh!
It doesn't hurt me the way it hurts you, but it hurts my body causing this happen. So
I wouldn't know, because if it was me, I'd pass right out. I'm just saying. Low pain tolerance.
when your joints and your ligaments are loose, it slides in and out a lot easier. So it's not the same as yours. So
Okay, if you say so. Okay, so you lay on the floor. Hi, May. Hi, good morning to you. May Cassandra. Nice to see you. Bella Jimenez. Nice to see you, and all the rest of you beautiful people. So you lay on the floor, you plead. This really is rock bottom. The great thing about God, about spirit, is they meet you where you're at. So you lay there, you put the plea out. What was the first thing you were told to do? Rise and go to the
MedExpress, which is not what I would have thought to do, but I knew I wasn't going for treatment. I was going to confirm for myself there was something going on with my shoulder. And when I got there, it was like God picked up my feet and was like, just go this way, go this way. All the answers are going to come. It's time. It took you a lot to come to me, but you have, and now I'm going to make it easy. I mean, not that it was super easy because it's been work, but it just became like I was fighting so hard to get better. And I stopped fighting and I let go and I let God. And then God was like, "There's going to walk you to the next step on that yellow brick road to your heaven because you've already been through hell." No.
And you know what? I'm just going to say this. I can just tell. Can you guys? I can. I can just tell. I don't care. You don't give a shit if who believes that it happened like this or not, because you were there. You know exactly it was this close to that, and then shoot, just as quickly you were lifted up and out. Okay, so now you feel the trend changing, and I have a feeling you're going to take us into when you started realizing it wasn't just about you getting well, it was also about you finding your voice about this thing that you've just lived through. And that's why we go through stuff. I say it all the time. I don't believe God makes any mistakes. I think that's just his way of keeping our shit interesting. That's what I believe. So you start to feel the shift, right? But how do you know what to do or where to go? Because it seems like you almost exhausted every opportunity.
At MedExpress, everybody there that saw me that day had some type of shoulder surgery. And then they told me about this doctor who left the practice and started her own natural practice. And they sent me her website. So I went home. I was going to make an appointment. I never did. I went on her website, reading all the information, and I just kept clicking on like one link after another link after another. And I got to this article about atlas subluxation complex, which means the top disc in your neck, the one your head rotates on, that mine was basically partially dislocated from when I had passed out and hit my head on the garage floor, which is when I started having the seizures.
Oh, that time. Okay. You remember what I was saying about that time with girl? You're so nonchalant, but go on. Okay.
So I found an article and it said to look for ANYA chiropractor, which is NUCCA, which I think it's Northern or North America or something, upper chiropractor. Okay. And they do this technique where they just gently press your atlas disc into place. You don't even feel it. Like it's like they're just touching you. And then your whole body goes back into alignment. So I found a chiropractor that does that the next day. And I went in, there was luckily one that was 15 minutes from me. It was like it all was just became so easy.
So you're saying there was clarity, instant clarity.
I had every single symptom on the list. There's 30 something symptoms. I had all of them. Okay. I had a CSF leak. I was leaking spinal fluid from my nose.
All right, Susie Sunshine, I got to draw the line at the spinal fluid. It's too much. You're going to make me fall out on the floor. Okay.
Like I
Oh,
said, I
Lord.
was falling apart. My brain was sinking into my spinal canal.
Oh, okay. Let's just say,
I was just falling apart.
yeah, let's leave it
Another way
there.
to put it.
Girl, because no wonder I didn't bring breakfast today. I was wondering, how come I didn't make some oatmeal? I know why now. Thank y'all. So, okay. So you get there, all of this starts happening. How long does it take for you to rise? Because that's what you did. You rose. Talk about a phoenix.
I
Woo.
want to say, so I took that photo about 6 months after I started getting better. Okay. So during that time, I didn't have fear anymore. I was still taking medication, I think, for like 3 months, and I got off everything. I had weaned off the painkillers with my doctor, my primary, who helped me when the other doctors wouldn't treat me. She ended up giving me some thyroid hormone. And so, so I guess like 6 months to really start knowing, like to be completely clear that this was God. Like, for it to really click for me. Like, I want to say it took about that long. And it's been about 2.5 years now. So at first I was scared to even step up on a curb. So when he put the disc back in my neck, I was going 2 times a week. I also have a rib back here that would come out about 30 times a day, partially dislocated.
Oh, Lord.
So the thing was, I started physical therapy too. And I learned about this connective tissue disorder that I had been told I had, but nobody ever told me how to treat it. And I'd only found out like when I was in the hospital with the diverticulitis. Or I kind of found it a little bit before then, but nobody told me how to treat it.
Can I ask something?
Mhm.
Just let me ask this. How in the world were people like avoiding you?
I
I'm
lost
just
so many friends.
I was gonna say, because I'd be like, oh my God, I love her. God, no, I'm gonna pray for her, but I can't hang her. Because look, she make me, I'll come home every little thing. I'll be like, what is that? What is, oh Lord?
It was hard.
Seriously.
And, like one of our friends, like my old mom group, got cancer, and everybody did fundraisers and things for her. And I got sick, and everybody's just dropped me. So it was very painful, and it's still hard for me to form close friendships.
Well, do you think though, in all fairness, Anya, I mean, come on. Every time they ran into you, you had a list. You look at all that paperwork you got in front of you.
But
It would seem like
even my best friends.
I would have had to avoid you because I would not have known. Most of us are not ready or able or equipped to deal with something like that, because when you're around a person who's dealing with those things, in all fairness, you don't want to pussyfoot around it and act like all sunshiny, but then you don't want to just talk about that because you don't want to go home and cut your wrist. So it's a like a tightrope. I mean, and let's talk about that for a second, because that's a big piece too. And this is a thing that I want to say to people because of what happened with my brother-in-law, who passed away. He took his own life right before COVID because of chronic pain, and how everybody in the family thought he would be exaggerating or, oh my God. And I'm sure you dealt with that, where people are like, what's wrong with her? She's cray cray. Every time you see her, she's complaining about something else is wrong. Who could have that many things wrong? Why doesn't she just lay down and die already? I can only imagine the things that went through people's minds and stuff. But I did learn this. If something is real to a person, then it's real. It's real to them. So let me ask you this, though. At any point, Anya, did you believe, like, am I making any of this up? Is all of this pain really real? How it was so many different things. How did you keep your wits about you?
Well, I did try to kill myself once, and but I called my neighbors, and they came and helped me.
You tried to kill yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't doing it fast enough. So you were like, if this is what it's going to be, I might as well just do it myself. So
And then after that happened, I read an article, or not an article, a post from a friend whose mom killed herself. And I promised I would never try to kill myself again.
See, there you go. So let me ask you this. Today, when you look at the you of today, do you fully understand, or do you feel you're still awakening into the full purpose of why this was such a big part of your journey. We're talking 13 years.
'Cause
Why do you think this was part of why is this so important to your journey? What do
well,
you think it's all about?
I like to say that I gave up on God, but God never gave up on me, no matter how much science you had to put in my face. Like, okay, you're still not getting it? All right, you're still not getting it. You want to keep trying to handle this all on your own? Keep going.
And the message you feel that is your responsibility to share with the rest of us, what is it? Never give up, always trust God, draw the line, set perimeters,
Hand
set
it,
boundaries.
hand it
What do
over
you
to
think it
God.
is? Huh?
Hand it over to God. Whoever your higher power is, hand it over. I did a couple 12-step programs when I was younger, and that's what kept coming to mind when I got to my worst. And I remember that first step, of admitting that you cannot handle this anymore. And I gave it to God. I just literally gave it to God, and God took it from me. Just like He had, with my addictions in the past.
With your what?
Addictions in the past when I was younger. I know I look all nice and innocent, but I was quite a trouble,
Whatever do you mean? So, wait, you mean you weren't? Do
I
tell.
was
I smell a scandal.
I ran away all the time. I dropped out of high school, ran away with a boy, told my mom I was getting married. My parents offered to pay for the wedding, so somehow I didn't end up marrying him. They're really smart that way, reverse psychology.
Ooh, we're all for it, and then you didn't want it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I
but
got into drugs and partying and all the wrong things.
did
And
you ever hate God? Were you and God ever estranged?
I
Like,
wouldn't say that I hated God. I just was disconnected.
this
Um,
good. So you were like, look, I ain't got time for you right now. I'll get back with you. I mean,
Because
because
I prayed a lot, but the thing was, I was praying for what I didn't want, and that was a big part of the switch for me. I learned at one point that I was using the word against myself all the time in my thoughts, in my speaking about my illness, and so I learned to stop using the word against myself. That was a big
explain
part.
what you mean with that. That's a big one. Explain what you mean by that.
Okay, I did not grow up with religion. I grew up with hippie parents. One was Italian Catholic, the other one was Russian Jew. Neither of them practiced it. They taught us more about being spiritual. But there's this one phrase that my mother always said. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And it took me a long time to understand what that meant. And I do now. I completely understand.
Oh, do you now?
We create with our minds, our thoughts, our voices, our
Mhm.
words. We create our own reality.
We certainly do. So you were using it against yourself.
Yes.
That's I love that because when you go to the promise of no weapon, I say this all the time. It took me decades to get to this point. Sounds like you too, where it says no weapon formed against you. That is the promise. But it says nothing about weapons we create of our own hand and say, here, try this on me. You trying to hit me, trying to knock me down? Try this. And so I get it. So why do you feel this has been your journey? What are you getting out of this? What do you feel is your jam? I mean, one day they're going to turn there and say, remember that girl, Anya Nicholson? Remember her? Oh yeah. Way back from in the 2000s. Yeah. What did she do again? Oh, she was the one who.
Showed people what can happen when you let go and let God. I don't
Wow.
know how to phrase it exactly yet, but I want to give people hope that you can take control of your life. You can go from sick and dying to having the life of your dreams. You have to think it first. You have to put it out there, but that anything is possible. But we're told it's not. We're taught to live in fear of ourselves, our health, the outside world, everything that's going on. Everybody wants to fix everything on the outside, but they're not fixing what's on the inside. And that's our connection with source, our higher power. We have to have that or we have nothing. We
And you
forget who
know
we are.
that unequivocally now, without a shadow of a doubt. Because, and see, I feel like this when I listened to that story, I was like, oh, stop. I can't hear it. I can't take it no more. Too much.
It's a
That's because, right. And I'll say this. See, it shows how much you had to endure to find that place of authority so that you could speak life through those things, those belief systems that do not serve us. For those of us, so you're like a human scrubbing bubble. You did the dirty work, so we didn't have to. You see what I'm saying? So, do you feel? Let's talk about this. Do you feel when you share your story that people get it?
Yes. I can't say they get how to do it right away, but when I tell people I touch something in them, I can feel it. Like when I'm in person, even when I'm just online. But there's, if I had one word to describe me, it would be authentic, because I have no more shame. Like this taught me to just let go of every layer. It was very, very scary for me to be vulnerable and start talking about this, but I've become comfortable with it very quickly, because I know that God saved me so that I could show other people what is possible. And that is my mission in this world and in this life, and why I was put here.
I
And
hear you.
what I did.
Let me ask you this. I'm going back to your Facebook again real quick. Things like this. And I'm gonna pop this back on the screen. Hold on, you guys. So like your the things you do on a daily basis now. Talk about look at I saw this oven thing.
Dehydrator.
Okay, that's what that is?
Yeah.
What is this you're making here?
And caramelized onion wrap. It's raw. It's not cooked. It's just heated, but if you cook, if you keep it below 115 degrees, it's still considered raw and not cooked, which retains all the nutrients, which are usually cooked out. So I learned to get all the things that I was missing, all the vitamins and nutrient deficiencies. I learned to get them through food, and that's actually what kept me alive all those years while I was sick on all the medicines. These foods
That you were eating the right foods.
yeah.
Now, are you completely vegan all the time? We're looking at some of your food. Huh?
Not anymore, but I'm 90%.
90%. Ooh, and what is this in this jar? It looks delicious.
Watermelon juice.
You may well, of course you did. I was gonna say I couldn't even get that out, that question. Um,
That's the juicer right there that my husband's doing for me.
so you guys take us through and look at all this stuff on the side. So you show people like this is your personal Facebook page. You show people. So go back to this right. So you're vegan, what? Like by choice at certain times of the year? How does it work?
Every so often, I will feel like I want to have dairy, and then I put myself in this little trap because it's really addictive for me, and I'll have it for a couple months, and then I'll put on like 5 or 10 pounds, and then I say no. So I don't do that often. But I was raw vegan strictly for like 8 years. And then when I got my health back, I was like, oh, I want to eat something once in a while. So now I'll let myself eat it once in a while. I try to keep it so that 90% of the time, whether that's in a day, a week, a year, 90% of my diet stays raw vegan. And when I do eat cooked foods, I try not to have dairy. I try to keep it like just something like a burrito wrap or something where I can just have beans and other foods. But I
What?
try to stay vegan because it allows me to not have to be on medication.
Okay, let's talk about this because I know right now because we have one of those upstairs. I'm talking about that scale, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, girl, I just can't do it. I am not going to be weighing everything. Got to weigh the bowl, and then you got to,
Why I weigh. It's to make
huh?
I weigh to make sure I get enough calories.
Oh,
Because
whereas I would be weighing
when
it
you
to make
eat
sure
raw
I don't
vegan,
eat, huh?
when you're eating raw vegan, the the foods all have a lot less calories. Like, you might need a pound of watermelon to get, I think, 200 calories or something, or 20 ounces, I think. So you have to eat a lot more food to get your nutrients and your calories in.
I've heard that. I've heard that. But now, where do you go to set your plan in motion? That, okay, I'm going to do this. Like I'm looking at all this. I'm keeping my intentions of daily Facebook posts, over 7,500 steps a day, and 3 strength training workouts a week. I'm adding a couple more intentions to those. The first is staying 100% raw vegan for at least the next 3 weeks. How did you come up with that number? 3
Oh,
weeks.
I
Having juice
the
during the
number.
day.
It
Huh?
takes
Where do you get all this stuff?
it takes 21 days to form a new habit.
Okay.
So that's
But
always in my number. Plus, I like 3, 7, 21. I'm a number person. Like I said, I was a forensic accountant. And like yourself, I don't like New Year's resolutions either. I think
yeah,
when you set yourself up with, I have to do this. Never again am I going to do this. Like when I used to say, never again am I going to eat ice cream or chocolate. Now, I do most of the time go make myself a raw version, which satisfies me.
yeah.
But when I tell myself I can never have something again, I just set myself
It's
up for
set
failure.
up.
And like I
It's a
said,
setup.
I've been
Yeah.
through 12-step programs. So, you know, forbidding myself is something like I've had to learn to really work on. And
Does it feel, Anya, like like you're a part of a science project on an ongoing basis? I mean, you have all that
anymore,
paperwork in front of you about all the stuff that you had, and I imagine you probably, I don't know why I keep picturing all kinds of clipboards and notebooks with weights of this and shopping lists, and I'm just saying, is it I mean, I know I can't be as good at it as you. I just can't. And I just can't. I just know. But what can I do? Where is a nice place for me to get started just so I can do better?
replace your breakfast with fresh fruit.
Not a smoothie? Or does
Oh,
that count as fresh fruit?
yeah, that counts as if you're not putting dairy and sweeteners and stuff in it.
When you say sweetener,
What do you put in your smoothie?
like today, oh, it's right here. This one has my protein powder.
Drop the
Um,
protein powder.
what?
Drop the protein powder.
You know what? You know what? Wait a minute.
It tastes
Bye-bye. She's got to go, y'all. I can't do it. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, I'm telling you what's in here. Protein powder, meal replacement. It's Herbalife. Wait a minute. And,
That's not a smoothie, that's a concoction.
well, yeah, you're right. It's a meal replacement. It is. It is.
Take
Now,
yourself a banana, some
huh?
coconut water, get some coconut water or regular water, a banana, and some frozen strawberries. Or my other son, his favorite one is almond milk, pineapple juice, banana, and mango.
Well, that sounds good.
Okay, give yourself like a nice 16-ounce smoothie to start with. You can work your way up later on. That's still only like 200, 300 calories. About 300. My older son does a smoothie with 5 ounces of spinach or kale or some kind of green, and 10 ounces of strawberries, I think, and like 160 grams of dates. It's like 400 calories in
You know what I
dates.
mean? Look at all those numbers and stuff you're throwing at.
Well,
42 ounces of
you
this,
don't have to be
13
exact.
ounces of that. Girl.
You don't have to be exact, but when I give out the information, I want people to have an idea so they can kind of figure out, okay, because if I just say I use this, this, and this, you're going to be like, well, how much are each?
You
I
need
want
to
to make
start
sure
one of those businesses where you just ship the stuff to us. All that's already done. Just eat it. Huh?
when you're doing fresh produce, it's risky. You'd have to start preserving it, and because it's mostly fresh food. I eat mostly live, fresh food.
Yes. I try to do that too. I try to stay in the perimeter of the store. That's the living stuff. And it's there and it's true, even breads and stuff. I try to use the ones, bread that is inside it has the wrapper inside of the plastic because, even that, because it's going to go bad because it's living, right? Any tips for people as we start to wrap it up? For that, let's go to that person who let's go to the bottom of the bottom. That person who is laying somewhere feeling like, oh my Lord, this is it. The upper room. Here I come, Elizabeth. Hello, Fred Sanford. They just are ready to give up. What would you say to them? How you went and knocked on God's door. Could I have a word with you? God in there. Tell him to come out. I want to talk to him out in the driveway. And then turn around and go wait for him. And he'll meet you there. He really will come and meet you there. What is the one thing you can say to people that I don't care what? You're going to stick by it. It's my story and I endorse it. And that's the way it is. Do this and watch what happens in your life. What would that thing be?
Humble yourself to God. Like stop acting like we don't intentionally do it, but stop acting like we're greater than God. God's will is greater than ours. And if we hand it over to God, God will take it from us, from our hands, and lift it and take it away.
You mean that too, I can tell. Okay. I see it on your face. You're like, you ain't got to believe me, but I know. Trust me.
The
I just
people
love
in my
that.
life have seen what has happened to me.
Yeah.
The doctors, that was the fun part. What did you do to get better? And I tell them, they're like, no, that one,
Okay, what'd you really do?
yeah, they want
Almost
to
like they
know.
don't believe you.
And then if I tell them about how I changed the way that I eat, they're like, that's not healthy. Or how did you lose the weight? And I tell them, they're like, that's not healthy. I'm like, well, I mean, I look pretty healthy right now, I'd say.
And I feel healthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anya, you guys, along the bottom is Anya's Facebook page. Follow her there. She is upping her game on her website, and it'll be back out of construction and fresh and brand new in a couple weeks for you. She'll let you know. But in the meantime, head over to the Facebook page. All kinds of great things on there. You can get a lot of tips just from following her. So I really appreciate it. I thank you for being a bold example of I mean, you went through a lot to be able to tell us what you tell us, and I appreciate it, and I thank you for that. So thank you. Welcome back anytime. To you guys tomorrow, meet me out on the front porch at 8 a.m. Central. We'll do it all over again, God willing, and we'll do whatever it takes to have an illuminated conversation and reach for our highest self. Now get out of here. Go out and ease some suffering in the world by being the best version of yourself. I'll meet you, like I said, tomorrow morning, and in the meantime, remember, I love you. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Just the way it is. Great job, Anya. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind.